Hi, and welcome to the Love Class. I'm Rainie Howard.
And I'm Patrick Howard.
I'm here, and we're going to present this video called When a Man Finds a Wife. Now, many of you have been watching several videos that I have recorded for the Love Class, and this one is very unique because now we have my wonderful husband, who is also a author of the book When God Sent My Husband, Wisdoms for Capturing and Keeping a Man's Heart. And my husband actually wrote the last chapter of the book. So we're going to get right into it and just go into it. So when a man finds a wife. So Patrick, tell me, because of course I'm interviewing you. I know some of the things that I'm going to ask you, but it's always great to get a fresh perspective of how you see things and what you're thinking. Um, when, in the beginning stages, you really weren't thinking about marriage. I mean,
Right,
we were pretty young when we
right,
got married, but in the beginning, that really was not on your mind, right?
right. Yeah, I knew that. I was familiar with the scripture verse. At that point, we was, going to church regularly, so I'm familiar with the scripture verse. He that finds a wife finds a good thing, and obtains favor from the Lord. But that wasn't in the forefront of my mind yet. I really just wanted to be in a relationship, with somebody that's attractive like yourself, and just have that companion, somebody to really connect with, But I wasn't at that mindset yet to say, you know, what I'm seeking after really at this point in time is my wife. And I think part of that
Mm-hmm.
is just becoming mature, growing and maturing um, as a man and knowing what I exactly wanted for my future,
Because I mean, you were young.
Right.
You you know, was looking at the physical, of course. Many
Right.
many of us do. If you find somebody attractive, you like them, you look, oh, they look
Hmm.
good. And as you got to know me and we developed a friendship, things became a lot deeper.
Right.
But as far as finding a wife, how did you get to that point? Like, what would you say men look for when it comes to wifey material? Because you hear different things, and I see a lot of like cliche things where women say, oh, I'm wifey material and
Right.
future wifey. But are there certain characteristics that a man can say, okay, this is more of a wife,
Hmm.
this is someone who
Yeah.
I may not be
Right.
really looking
I
to
mean,
as
I
a
think
wife?
I think typically a lot of times when people ask this question, they talk about a woman having confidence and a
Mhm.
woman knowing who she is. But I would take it a step further to say, I mean, when you looking at somebody who's wifey material that you trying to build a future with, you want somebody that's going to be a compliment to you.
Yeah.
Somebody that you can work with and somebody that's going to help you as you help them to take whatever you two are deciding to do or whatever vision God has placed in your heart to the next level and help you to accomplish it. So not only
So
does
you're
that,
looking for a woman who has a vision. She know what she
she know what
wants.
she want.
Mhm.
She know what she wants. She know what she trying to do. In addition to that, I think it's important that a man knows what he wants to do. The
Mhm.
scripture verse says, "Write the vision and make it plain."
Mhm.
And I think it's important for both sides to know what they want and know what they desire. It's like building a team.
Mhm.
If I'm trying to build a team, I'm trying to build a successful team, and I'm going to be a pitcher. Well, I'm gonna need a catcher, to
Mhm.
receive, or I'm gonna need somebody at first to receive the throw from the other side of the field. It's certain elements of a team that you need, and if you're a certain type of person with these type of characteristics within you, you know what other characteristics you need to complement you to help you to grow and to help you to accomplish the vision that God placed in your heart. So it's somebody who not only confidently knows who they are, but somebody who you can see working with you to accomplish a common goal, to do what God has called you to do in your life. And I'm sure, once you pray and seek God on direction on what you want to do with your life and the things that God will have for you, you know, the goals that you have and the goals that that individual have will connect with each other.
Mhm. Because you saw marriage as long term, death do
Right.
you part. Because there are some people who get into marriage and they don't see it as a till death do us part. They see marriage as, if this don't work out, we'll get a divorce, we'll move
Right.
on, we'll do something else or whatever. But you came in, you had a view of marriage and you knew, like, even though you were 20 and
Hmm.
I was 21 when we got married, um, which is not common because everybody
Right.
is not as mature and wise and ready to make those decisions. And here we are almost 13 years later and much even stronger in our relationship. But everyone is not ready for that.
Right.
So, what do you say to, there are women out here who they're in relationships and they really, really, really want to be married. And sometimes a man will give in and marry even though he know deep down inside this is, he may not be looking at this long term and he may not be looking at it as something till death do us part, but maybe he jump into that because he feel that that's what he needs to do for her. Or because I know you've had different friends and different people that you've been involved with who
Hmm.
jumped into marriage and wasn't ready, and and still dibbling dabbling here and there. And what do you think it is that cause a man to know what he getting into but just kind of fall into it and really it's not?
I think really man looks at the outward appearance and all things.
Mhm.
So when it comes to a relationship and it comes to a marriage, when you see a marriage, how you picture it, it looks just perfect. It looks like everything is right. And sometimes
Mhm.
people get into a marriage situation and
Mhm.
think that uh, based on how this look, everything looks good, everything looks right, then it may be right, even
Mhm.
though mentally it's not right, and I'm not ready. So
Mhm.
sometimes you take that step to look to give the impression that you're ready for something that you may not be ready for. And sometimes people make that mistake to do things that that may seem like this look like the right thing to do. This seems like this would be right, but in actuality their heart is not ready. They didn't
Mhm.
really connect with God to see if you know I should really be taking this relationship to the level that I'm taking it. And
Mhm.
taking the time out to really seek God for that direction. Another piece I talk about in the chapter is a man or just period being double minded.
Mhm.
How there could be situations where somebody could be double minded in the way that they operate. In 1 minute, they can be like, yeah, I'm ready to get married.
Mhm.
And then in the next minute, they can be like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have did
Mhm.
this. Maybe I'm really
Mhm.
not ready for this.
Mhm.
Or maybe somebody else out there is for me. You know what I'm saying? So, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his
Yeah.
ways. So if you're not connected with God
Mhm.
and you truly have an understanding of where God is leading you and want to do it and want to pursue it wholeheartedly,
Mhm.
you can be double-minded. In 1 minute you be like, you know what, I'm ready. And then the next minute, after the wedding, after the party, the reception, you like, you know what, maybe I wasn't ready.
Mhm.
you know and that could be that's a whole nother set of
Yeah.
problems you
Yeah.
create for yourself, especially when you're not truly connected with God to say, you know I'm ready for this. And then when you talked about the
And that's
whole,
why it's so important to be connected to
yeah,
God, because had that not been the situation, we probably wouldn't have gotten married. We wouldn't have gotten
nah,
married when we got married
nah,
because it was
because it
just
was it
it was
was a
our
God thing. It was
relationship.
a
It was
relationship with
with
God.
God that.
It was something that God was leading us to do at the time. I wouldn't say that, if it was just all me, I don't think, I would have been like, oh, at 20, let's just get married. but I was connected with God, and I was willing to do what I knew God was calling me to do. And even in, you talked about till death do you part, and having that philosophy in marriage. I think a lot of that comes with the experiences that you see. I've seen uh, in my just growing up, I've seen people deal with all kind of situations and stay. And my mindset was that I personally had decided not to be those bad examples, and I wasn't going to do those things that I saw that were negative. So my mindset was that if I could commit to not doing certain things, I'm sure that I wouldn't have a problem being in a relationship till death do us part. And then the fact that I took that commitment to God seriously, you know, I felt like, I seen it. This is how I was raised, and we just said till death do us part in the vow, so we finna stick to it.
So Patrick, what would you tell a man who's out here and who maybe he's watching this video and he feels like he would love to you know have a wife and have a loving marriage? How do and he say, well, how do you find a wife? What would you say to him?
How do you find a wife? Well, I say pray. Pray and seek God, first of all, because I can't say that, I was just out and about and all of a sudden stumbled upon somebody like you. I think that God had prepared me first of all, prepared me to meet somebody like you. And then, in addition to preparing me to meet you, He prepared my heart and my character for how to interact with you, so that so that I was prepared. Because I think a lot of times when it comes to finding a wife and being led to a wife, I think that's something that God can do. God leads you in the direction. You should be following God. That's the same thing that we want to do in a marriage relationship. You want to be following God, and your wife follow you as you follow God. So if you following God already, God will put you in a place that'll open up opportunities and doors for you to meet people that'll compliment you so well that that's how you put yourself in a position to where you can find that person that truly complements where God is trying to take you. Because if you get connected with God and you be on the path that God has laid out for you, and you seeking to do His will, and you seeking His vision and His promises for your life, God will put the people in place that'll help you accomplish that thing that He placed in your heart. And most definitely when it comes to a wife, I know that God is involved in every aspect of our life, even when it comes to the people He put in our path to interact with and to meet, and our companions. And I just know if men stay connected with God and through prayer, through seeking His vision and His promises for their life, you put yourself in a position to be ready to receive and to identify the wife that God has for you and that has put in the midst of your journey to do what God has called you to do.
Amen. How much does patience play a part? Because I know, had you came on to me like too quick, I would have probably pushed you away and kind of like, oh, got out the way. But I think the patience and the willingness to be a friend and take our time. I think one of the big issues that's messing up relationships is everybody is rushing into each other, and they're just like, the first date, they're sleeping together and, and they quick to, have kids and all this other stuff, live together, and there's no real commitment. But just how important was it just to like take your time and walk through the process with each other to get to know each other?
It's important to take your time and to build that friendship, because
and that's really the foundation. Yeah, that's what keeps you.
And that's the foundation of our relationship, just communication and having a friendship.
And we're not perfect. We
no,
argue. We got into an argument earlier today, so
right.
it happens. We're not perfect. We don't have a perfect relationship. We disagree at times, but the thing is, when you have that friendship, when you have that genuine connection, when you know how to communicate with each other, you can work through anything.
Right.
And an argument can be, nothing. It could be brushed off and you over it, versus somebody that gets into an argument and it's like a huge thing that lasts and lingers and it becomes something like crazy,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know.
especially depending on what you're arguing about. I mean, if you arguing about meals or videos and stuff like that, that's really not that significant, that don't have that big of a weight on how you really gonna live your life.
Hmm.
Preferences, or
Yeah.
watching sports, or you
Hmm.
want to be engaged in what I'm engaged in.
Hmm.
Those things are really not that big of a deal to really break down your whole relationship.
Right.
Because everybody is different. Everybody have their personal preferences. So I can't expect you to be a sports fan the way that I'm a sports fan,
Hmm.
nor can you expect me to be interested in fashion and
Right.
such that you interested in.
Right.
Too. We different. We have our
Right.
own different
We're different.
ideas and our different interests,
We're different,
but
and
we complement each other
we
though.
do. We complement each other, and like I said, we didn't always agree, even in the beginning. I think, and we was just telling another couple, the first 3 years of marriage can be the toughest.
Yeah, because you're getting to know each other, and I mean, it's a change between being single and being in a relationship where you have to work with somebody else and you working together. So it's not quite the same that it was when you was all by yourself, just doing things, individually,
Hmm.
independently.
Hmm.
Where you don't have to say, "Hey, what you think about this?" or "I have to make sure I'm available for
Hmm.
you," and
Hmm.
all of that stuff. You can basically just come and go as you please.
Hmm.
But when
Hmm.
you're in a relationship, you have to take that time out to make sure you all are in one accord and in agreement to some of the stuff
Right.
that's going on. Whether you're doing it independently or you're doing them together, you do have to
Right.
collaborate to get a clear understanding that this is what's going on, so that it's clear and everybody's on
Hmm.
the you know same playing field.
And I think it's important. This is another thing. I think, because we share our story about how God prepared us for marriage and how we wasn't sexually active, and there were things that we sacrificed and we went through, even though those people around us just going crazy doing what they want to do. I believe God protected us and purified our marriage, because I look at so many other marriages that have dealt with infidelity and all kind of issues, like the fact that we've been married for over 12 years, like we've never dealt with any infidelity, any
Right.
cheating, any lying, none of that stuff. But I counsel different women and different married women, single women who deal with this stuff, and they're trying to make this be a good marriage or make this be a good relationship, which it can, but that's why it's good to really take your time when you say, and
Hmm.
be willing to wait and sacrifice certain things and put God first,
Right.
because that's what holds you together and
Yeah.
that's what keeps you
And
strong.
then just being in a relationship period, it's a continual growing, a continual getting to know. I mean, even now we've been married, like you said, over 12 years. I mean, I don't know everything,
Hmm.
and realistically, things change over
Yeah.
time. We
And
not in
these
the
things
same.
have changed and we've
Yeah,
had
and we're not
to.
in the same place that we were when we first were married. I'm not
Hmm.
even doing the same thing professionally that I was when we first were married. So,
Hmm.
things change, things transition, so it's been able to, especially if it comes to intimacy and those type of things, you're gonna get a
Hmm.
chance to do those things a lot when you
Hmm.
when you get married. So it's
Yeah.
something to not to rush
You
into.
should be.
Yeah, you should be. But it's something to not rush into, because communication, that's something that needs to continue to take place, continue to grow upon. You need to continue to take time out to get to know this
because
person.
you're always getting to know each other.
Yeah, and you're always growing. Yeah.
So I want you to read a little paragraph from the book.
All right. Let's get into it. So, this passage says, the Bible teaches in Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 2 and 3, to write the vision and make it plain, so that he who reads it will run. If a woman provides her vision to a man who is not willing to run with her to accomplish it, then don't wait, because it will not happen. Once your vision is in the hands of a man who is willing to run for you, then I recommend you be willing to wait for the relationship aspect of the vision to come to pass. Because although you may have to wait for it to be completely right, and it may not flow as smoothly as you would like, if you wait for it, it will surely come without delay. This is how I knew that Rainie was going to be my wife, and that her affection was worth waiting for.
So elaborate on that. That's from chapter 6, Finding My Wife, in the book, When God Sent My Husband, Wisdoms for Capturing and Keeping a Man's Heart.
Well, where I came from when I wrote that passage was the fact that, and we've been talking about it, we did a lot of talking. We did a lot of communicating to each other. And in us talking to each other, we talked a lot about where we wanted to see ourselves,
our vision,
and what
goals.
we thought we wanted to be, goals, aspirations, and things like that. And you communicating your goals to me, and me communicating my goals to you, I knew in my heart that you were the one for me, and that we would really help complement each other to do the things that we wanted to do and accomplish all the goals we wanted to accomplish. So once I caught that revelation that, Rainie want to do this, Rainie want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that, I can really see us doing these things together, and I can really see us do great things together. When I realized that in talking to you, I knew that working with you and waiting for you and waiting with you was the right thing to do, because only great things were going to come once we really connected in marriage and joined through this relationship. So that's how I knew that it was worth waiting for.
So it was worth the wait.
It was worth it.
Yay. But I love that how you said, if a woman provides her vision, and I love how you compared it to Habakkuk 2, chapter 2, verse 3, because it talks about writing a vision and making it plain, so that he who reads it will run. Right. And so the fact that you compared it to a woman writing her vision, women, what is it that you see? What type
is it
of
that you want?
Yeah, what do you want? What is your vision for your family, your husband, your children? Right. And then to write that out and put it out there. If you dating a man, put it out there, let him know. And when he reading, when he hear that vision, if he don't run, that means put some actions towards making that vision a reality for you. Then you need to just continue to wait. You need to continue to wait, because the vision will not tarry. It's when it's
but
gonna,
it will surely come.
It will surely come.
It will surely come.
It's gonna come. You just gotta continue to put it out there, and you have to wait until you connect with that person and say, "Hey, I caught on to your vision. I see this vision, and I want to be a part of this vision, and I'm willing to do what it takes. I'm willing to sacrifice. I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to take my time to get to know you. I don't want to just rush into your body, because I know there's so much more to you than just the flesh, because yeah, of course men like sex, and men, are, looking at the physical, and he's the same way. He's no different. Just because he waited don't mean he didn't have those same urges and desires.
But it's a willingness to want to accomplish something much greater than that moment. It's a willingness to want to do something bigger than just that.
Right. something greater. I mean, just being able to say this is valuable and I'm willing to do what it takes. I'm willing to, just like getting a degree. It takes time, years, and hard work.
Yeah.
You gotta earn it. Women out here, they're giving away their degrees before the man earn it. It's like
Right.
he haven't even earned you yet, and you just giving it up. You just giving your values up that quick.
Right. In the same way that, when Christmas come around, you excited to open up them gifts Christmas
Hmm.
morning. But if you got a chance to peek at all the gifts right before Christmas came, you're not gonna be as excited when
Hmm.
Christmas comes.
No.
And the gift of sex is what God has given us to open and receive on a regular basis
Hmm.
after we've joined together in
Hmm.
marriage.
Hmm.
So we don't want to spoil that gift. We want to
Hmm.
work on everything else though to make sure everything else is right. Because
Hmm.
we don't want to take for granted the gifts that God has freely given us that we
Right.
should be enjoying on a
Right.
regular basis.
Right. And that's the key. That's the key. And it's not impossible. Neither one of us were virgins. We had made the decision that, we had committed to God. We were
Yeah,
not we committed to God and said, we're gonna do this right. We're gonna
right.
wait. We're gonna
It's a
take our time.
willingness,
A
a
willingness.
willingness to do what was right
Hmm.
and
So
take the time out to invest the necessary time to really get to know each other on a deeper level
mhm.
and
Know that
be
you're
willing to
building
wait.
something long term.
Yeah,
You want to take your time. Love is a gradual process. It's not at first sight. We talked about the love and lust video. You need to watch it if you haven't. But lust is at first sight. Love is a gradual process. It just don't happen like that. It's deeper, and you getting to know this person. So anything else you want to share, Patrick, before we wrap it up on when a man finds a wife? Maybe some advice to women out there who just want to, a little perspective on, just how they can better prepare themselves to be ready for marriage.
I mean, I feel like in the same way that we just read, the piece from the book and what we talked about on a regular basis, I think it's important to really know what you want out of life and what you desire in a husband and what you desire in a family, and take take the time out to write those things out and let that uh, be known to God. Give it to
Mhm.
God in prayer. And I know that as you connect with God and you allow Him to lead you and guide you in the same way that men will be led and guided in the way that they go once they connect with God, I know that God will lead you and guide you to be in the proper path to interact with somebody who will be a wonderful complement for you. And if your eyes are open to receive the blessing that God is bringing to you, and you're not deceived by lust at first sight or anything like that, God
Mhm.
will truly bless you with a loving relationship that'll really bring to pass all the things that you have written out and given to Him in your vision and through your prayers. So I just suggest that you keep seeking God, keep making your requests known to Him, and allow Him to really move in your life and send the man that He sees best fit as a complement to you and to what He called you to do in your life. And He'll do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I just want to say, this is our last love class video. So I know many of you have been watching all the videos. Hopefully, you've been taking notes, you've been learning things, you've read the book. If you haven't read the book, get the book, click the link to get When God Sent My Husband, Wisdoms for Capturing and Keeping a Man's Heart. This week, for the homework assignment, we talked about when a man finds a wife. Write out some things that you believe you need to work on for you when it comes to um, being a wife. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to be a wife, and how can you align yourself with that vision? that vision, like Patrick said, write the vision and make it plain. Because really, if you don't know the vision, if you don't know what it is you want, when a man comes along, he's not gonna know how he can help assist you, or how he can even play a role in your life. Because
Right.
he need a man needs he wants purpose. He wants something to work for. He wants something to achieve and to accomplish and to help him to man up and to, be the man that he is. So give him a vision that, where do you see yourself? So I would say just write that out. Write out your vision. Where if you visualize yourself being a wife, write that out. What is it you see? Where would you want to go? And what do you want to accomplish in your life? So write out your vision. I want you to connect with me. Be sure to connect with me on Facebook, on Instagram. Get the book, When God Sent My Husband. And again, you can still invite others to be a part of this love class. We're going to have it to continue. But I want to thank my wonderful, loving husband for being here and for sharing and for writing the chapter in the book, and just all of the great things to come. So thanks again for watching. Be blessed.